Dinar shift, delivering the news that matters most. Today's broadcast brings to light one of the most significant and long-anticipated official confirmations ever seen within the global currency and asset holding community. Every viewer who has followed this complex journey needs to stay focused on the details we are about to present, as they potentially reset expectations, reconfigure timelines, and usher in the long-awaited moment for those holding Tier 4 billions assets. For many months, this entire process has been shrouded in a dense fog of rumors, fleeting whispers of leaks, and intense speculation dominating every relevant conversation across the globe. Skepticism has been high, with many questioning whether any tangible, verifiable progress was truly happening behind the elaborate financial curtain. However, the landscape shifted dramatically today, moving from conjecture to concrete fact. The latest publication from the government Gazette has formally acknowledged, validated, and authorized the complete and fully structured asset redemption process. This crucial documentation is not derived from a casual rumor, a speculative blog post, an anonymous leak, or yet another unsubstantiated claim circulating online. Instead, it is an official statement, deliberately published through the government's dedicated regulatory and communication channel. For the numerous holders of the Iraqi Dinar and other specifically approved assets classified under the Tier 4 billions category, this publication represents a pivotal turning point, fundamentally distinct from any previous developments. This official update is genuinely historic in its nature, definitively signaling the commencement of a protracted process that has been years in the making. Staying with us now is critical, as the information presented today is designed to thoroughly prepare you for the vital steps and official actions that are scheduled to follow. The formal confirmation released within today's Government Gazette goes far beyond merely validating that a redemption sequence exists. It explicitly establishes a fully structured, documented, and legally authorized process, ready for immediate implementation. Tier 4 billions investors have long navigated a landscape defined by significant uncertainty, often relying on indirect snippets of information, broad speculation, and unofficial speculative commentary to gauge progress. Now, for the first time in this entire timeline, the entire redemption sequence has been meticulously documented and recognized within a legally binding and internationally acknowledged channel. This singular action elevates the process into an entirely different regulatory category compared to anything that has been discussed or debated in the past. It signifies that banks, major financial institutions, and designated exchange centers now possess the essential legal foundation required to proceed with action. Furthermore, the official Gazette publication implicitly confirms that regulatory bodies have concluded their extensive verification procedures, cross-checking every compliance detail and finalizing all necessary reviews. This complex undertaking ensures the integrity of the process on a large scale. Perhaps most crucially, this official signaling indicates that the intricate financial framework, the complex set of rules, systems, and coordination required to execute such a monumental multi-stage financial operation, is now fully operational, aligned, and formally approved. This represents a colossal leap forward for investors in the Iraqi Dinar who have maintained their positions over long durations, often having to contend with widespread criticism, doubt, and misunderstanding from those unfamiliar with the underlying complexities and regulatory demands of this unique sequence. Today's robust confirmation validates that the extensive planning has been absolutely real, the coordination efforts have been continuous and painstaking, and the entire systemic infrastructure has finally achieved the required state of readiness. For countless investors, this is the moment many had begun to doubt would ever genuinely materialize, yet here it is, officially and unequivocally confirmed. To fully grasp the profound significance of today's authoritative confirmation, one must first appreciate the distinct nature of what the Tier 4 billions classification genuinely entails. Tier 4 billions investors are placed within one of the most stringently monitored and highly regulated categories within the entire global asset redemption landscape. These are individuals who have proactively undertaken a meticulous series of verification steps, comprehensive documentation checks, critical asset validation processes, and in many documented cases, rigorous security screenings. These stringent measures are mandatory to ensure that every asset held is unequivocally legitimate, fully compliant with global financial regulations, and officially qualifies for inclusion in the forthcoming redemption sequence. This intensive level of scrutiny is precisely why today's Gazette confirmation carries such extraordinary weight. When a sovereign government chooses to formally validate the Tier 4 billions category, it simultaneously validates the entire complex infrastructure and regulatory architecture that has been built specifically to support these investors and their holdings. This act confirms that the years spent navigating compliance requirements were genuinely meaningful, that the comprehensive regulations were established and enforced for a critical fundamental reason, and that the redemption sequence is far from being a mere theoretical exercise. It stands now as a tangible, actionable process, one that is fully backed by the explicit authority of the government. For dinar holders specifically, this official endorsement is extraordinary. It confers an unprecedented level of credibility, legitimacy, and global recognition upon assets that were long dismissed by many who doubted they would ever receive such official acknowledgement on the global stage. As the process now definitively transitions from the preparatory planning stage to the active implementation phase, Tier 4B investors are optimally positioned to finally experience the long-anticipated change, moving from a position of merely holding to active, documented redemption. The historic gravity of this development simply cannot be overstated. One of the most essential aspects to critically analyze in this official confirmation is the strategic timing of its release. The very fact that the government Gazette chose this specific moment to officially publish the update is a powerful indicator that all internal preparatory processes have achieved a complete and critical synchronization. Government regulators operate with extreme caution and do not issue such official announcements prematurely or lightly. They deliberately wait until every necessary component, including complex legal approvals, deep interbank cooperation, intricate international coordination agreements, the readiness of digital systems, and the establishment of physical exchange infrastructure, is fully aligned, verified, and ready to engage. This coordinated release confirms that months, and in many cases years, of intensive behind-the-scenes planning and preparation have finally reached a state of comprehensive completion. Major global financial systems absolutely must be stress-tested, compliance structures must be re-verified against the highest standards, and all international communication channels must be fully secured and operational before any financial operation of this scale can be authorized to begin. Now that the Gazette has officially, and for the record, confirmed the sequencing, it provides undeniable evidence that these fundamental and stringent requirements have been successfully met and signed off. For all long-term Iraqi dinar holders, this official confirmation is arguably the most decisive sign to date that the long-anticipated financial shift is no longer a distant abstract concept. It is demonstrably here. Soon, appointments will begin to be scheduled, complex digital systems will go fully online, and banks will transition into their designated official roles within the structured sequence. While the precise, granular scheduling details will be disseminated exclusively through secure, authorized banking communications, the confirmation from the Gazette signals that the exhaustive waiting phase is definitively concluding and the critical activation phase is commencing. Let us now turn our attention to what this momentous shift signifies for the individual investors who have been meticulously preparing, often for many years. Some individuals embarked on this journey very early on, long before the establishment of global regulatory recognition or the official governmental structures were fully in place. Others joined later, following the release of emerging reports and tracking the ongoing complex developments. Regardless of when an individual entered this process, the cumulative stress, the pervasive uncertainty, and the significant emotional weight associated with holding these assets have been enormous and taxing. For a great many, holding the dinar or other related assets transcended a simple financial transaction. It became a profound test of enduring patience, a measure of unwavering belief, and a long-term willingness to trust implicitly that the entire, complex process was grounded in reality and moving toward fruition. Today's powerful confirmation provides investors with a crucial element they have sorely lacked for years: certainty. The fundamental question of the process's legitimacy has now been definitively settled. The question of the overarching timing has been significantly clarified, and the profound question of whether Tier 4 Billion's holdings would ever ultimately receive the necessary official backing has been answered with an emphatic yes. This is an unprecedented moment of complete validation for every single investor who remained committed and steadfast throughout periods of prolonged delays, widespread confusion, and the constant barrage of often conflicting rumors. Now, it is absolutely essential to channel this validation into forward momentum, maintaining a clear focus, executing careful preparation, and paying rigorous attention to every official update that follows. The next operational phase will demand complete readiness, precision in documentation, and accuracy in procedure to ensure the smoothest, most compliant redemption experience possible. The Government Gazette confirmation also introduces much-needed clarity concerning the redemption sequence itself. The official authorization of a full redemption sequence is a technical term that specifically precludes any notion of a partial exchange, a limited trial rollout, or a purely speculative pilot phase. It explicitly means a comprehensive, structured, and legally approved process designed to accurately convert all verified Tier 4 billions assets into their officially assigned values. This structure explicitly encompasses physical currencies, such as the Iraqi Dinar, alongside other verified and compliant digital holdings that fall under the Tier 4 billions guidelines. It is vital to understand that the process is not designed to be a one-size-fits-all simple transaction. The redemption sequence will inherently involve distinct tiers, scheduled phases, and mandatory appointments to rigorously enforce security, maintain absolute accuracy, and ensure full compliance across the board. The participating banks will be operating under extremely strict guidelines that have been meticulously established through years of detailed financial planning and coordination. Investors should therefore fully anticipate a multi-step appointment process that will invariably include extensive multi-factor verification, a thorough documentation review, a careful asset authentication procedure, and a recorded documented exchange. Every single detail must align perfectly with the prevailing government regulations, and every investor must strictly adhere to the official instructions provided. The critical takeaway remains: the officially confirmed process is real, it has been authorized, and it is actively moving toward the critical activation point. Investors must now adopt a structured, action-oriented mindset, proactively updating all necessary documents, reviewing their records, and preparing diligently for the official notifications that will begin to follow very soon. This is the definitive moment to transition from a prolonged state of waiting into an active state of readiness. For those individuals who hold physical Iraqi Dinar notes, this official confirmation carries a particularly significant weight. Historically, one of the biggest underlying concerns among dinar holders and financial institutions alike has always revolved around authenticity. Banks and authorized exchange centers have a strict regulatory mandate to ensure that every single note presented is genuine, has been properly preserved since acquisition, and was legally obtained. This regulatory requirement means that as soon as redemption appointments commence, the physical currency will undergo meticulous examination for all key security features, verification of serial numbers, assessment of the note's condition, and confirmation of any official verification markings. The Gazette confirmation clearly indicates that banks are now legally authorized and equipped to perform these detailed checks, fully in accordance with the established, structured redemption sequence. This necessity translates into a clear action item for investors: prepare all dinar notes in a highly organized, accessible manner, sorted by denomination, carefully preserved, and stored securely. Notes should be kept as clean as possible, unfolded, and protected from any kind of physical damage or degradation that could potentially complicate or delay the necessary verification process during the appointment. Since this moment has been years in the making and is now officially confirmed, proper, meticulous preparation ensures that every investor can efficiently take advantage of the opportunity that has now been legally authorized. With the entire process officially sanctioned, maintaining a state of continuous high-level preparation is undeniably the most strategic step any investor can take right now. Holders of digital assets that fall under the Tier 4 billions umbrella are just as central to this historic moment. Many investors maintain their positions through verifiable digital confirmations, official account balances, or various officially registered holdings that do not involve the handling of physical currency. For these individuals, banks will execute an electronic verification process during their scheduled appointments. This digital audit involves cross-checking official account identifiers, reviewing digital statements, verifying secure codes, and confirming documentation that definitively proves legitimate ownership of the digital asset position. With the Gazette having formally confirmed the redemption process, digital systems across participating financial institutions will now begin the final synchronization phase, anticipating the high volume of incoming verifications. Therefore, digital asset holders must proactively ensure that all their relevant digital records are easily accessible, thoroughly backed up, and clearly documented. This preparatory work includes organizing digital copies of screenshots, printed account statements, confirmation emails from official sources, and any other pertinent supporting documents well ahead of time. The upcoming redemption sequence is structured to move with deliberate speed once activation officially begins, and being fully prepared is the key to helping investors successfully avoid any potential delays or unnecessary complications. The central message remains simple and universally applicable. Whether the holdings are physical or purely digital, all Tier 4 billions assets are now officially acknowledged within the formal redemption structure, and every investor must prepare diligently according to the specific nature of their individual holdings. A significant paramount takeaway from this official confirmation is the government's unwavering commitment to security and integrity. Whenever a financial operation of this immense scale is rolled out, especially one involving multiple currency exchanges and intricate international cooperation, security becomes the single highest priority. The Gazette confirmation explicitly signals that the strictest, most robust security protocols will be followed at every single step of the process. Banks will utilize secure, tested verification systems. All appointment details will be rigorously protected and confidential. Exchanges will occur exclusively in controlled, highly secure environments. Investors, too, must practice heightened caution and vigilance. This critical phase is when malicious actors and scammers are most likely to try and exploit the rising excitement and urgency. The rule for investors is simple and must be adhered to without exception. Only follow official communications emanating directly from authorized banks, government institutions, and designated exchange centers. Never, under any circumstances, share personal or sensitive financial information with any unverified or unofficial source. Never respond to unsolicited messages or claims that promise unofficial early access or special privileges. The absolute legitimacy of this entire process is guaranteed exclusively through its official channels. Today's confirmation is indeed historic, but the path forward must be navigated with extreme intelligence, due caution, and meticulous attention to every minute detail. Maintaining vigilance is the only way to ensure that every investor reaches and completes the redemption process safely, securely, and successfully. This official confirmation also carries a deep and necessary psychological importance for the investor community. Individuals who have maintained holdings in the Iraqi Dinar and other Tier 4 billions assets have endured one of the most protracted and emotionally demanding waiting periods in modern financial history. There have been inevitable times when hope soared to great heights and other periods when profound doubt cast a heavy shadow over everything. However, today's Gazette confirmation provides investors with something immensely powerful, unambiguous clarity. The compounding emotional stress that has built up over years of waiting can finally begin to dissipate and lift. For countless individuals, this long journey was far more than a mere financial venture. It became deeply personal, representing a test of faith, a demonstration of perseverance, and an enduring belief in a long-term, carefully planned outcome. The official, documented confirmation validates every single ounce of that effort and dedication. It transforms the long-standing rumor into a solid, verifiable reality and effectively shifts the collective mindset from one of perpetual uncertainty to one of active, confident preparation. Investors are now provided with definitive direction, legally recognized status for their assets, and a fully structured path ahead. This psychological transition is far more vital than many people realize because it primes investors to move into the critical next phase with a renewed sense of confidence, composure, and laser focus. The long, arduous waiting period is concluding. The crucial, active preparation stage is now beginning in earnest. One of the most far-reaching elements of the Gazette update is its immediate global visibility. When a sovereign government deliberately publishes financial information in its official Gazette, that information instantly becomes part of the permanent official public record. This means that international financial institutions, respected currency analysts, major global markets, and worldwide regulatory bodies can observe the update with complete transparency. Such a level of official visibility immediately and profoundly strengthens the process's overall credibility on a global scale. For Iraqi Dinar holders specifically, this is critically important because the international community has often historically questioned the actual legitimacy and progress of Tier 4 billions processes. Today's official confirmation decisively shifts that long-standing narrative. It clearly demonstrates to the world that the process is absolutely real, it is comprehensively regulated, and is formally acknowledged at the highest official levels. Global observers will now begin to monitor developments with extreme closeness and intensity. This visible confirmation will undoubtedly influence general currency speculation, enhance investor confidence worldwide, and naturally generate increased international economic interest in the overall process. The ripple effects of this transparency could potentially extend far beyond the immediate Dinar investor community. With the redemption process now visible and confirmed to the world, Tier 4 billions is no longer a private, niche discussion. It is now a recognized, globally observed financial event. As the process moves forward, investors should possess a clear understanding of how the intricate appointment scheduling is likely to proceed. While the Gazette confirms the sequence is authorization, it does not, and will not, provide individual appointment dates. Those specific dates will be securely communicated exclusively by authorized banks and official exchange centers. The scheduling is almost certain to occur in carefully managed phases to prevent any potential strain or overwhelming of the banking system's operational capacity. High-volume investors may be prioritized and scheduled first due to the inherent requirement for more detailed, prolonged compliance and verification checks. Smaller holders will then follow through streamlined procedures tailored to their needs. The crucial point remains that every verified investor will receive an opportunity to fully participate in the process. No one is being intentionally excluded, and there is no reason for anyone to rush, panic, or attempt to bypass the structured system. The entire system has been specifically engineered to operate in an orderly, secure manner that simultaneously protects the interests of the investors and the institutions involved. The wisest strategy is straightforward. Maintain a high level of preparedness, remain exceptionally organized, and patiently wait for the release of the official secure instructions. The appointments will come in due course, and when they do, investors must be completely ready with all required legal documents, complete asset records, and necessary verification materials. It is imperative to take a closer, detailed look at the specific documentation investors should prepare immediately ahead of their inevitable appointments. As a strict minimum, every investor must possess a valid current government-issued identification, official proof of residency, and any original documents that formally connect them to their specific holdings. For those with physical dinar, the preparatory step of organizing notes by denomination, serial number range, or note condition can significantly help to streamline the critical verification process and reduce delays. For digital asset holders, possessing printed statements, formal account confirmations, and verified digital access details should be prepared well in advance. Investors should also anticipate needing secondary identification, such as utility bills or other supporting documents, depending on the specific bank's internal compliance requirements. The overriding goal of this intensive preparation is to effectively minimize any possible delays and ensure a smooth, efficient verification experience when the appointment occurs. Because the full process is now officially authorized, banks will be following the most stringent possible compliance guidelines. Being unprepared or having incomplete documentation could very easily lead to extended review times, or even the necessity of having to reschedule the appointment entirely. Preparation undertaken now guarantees a much faster, significantly more efficient, and less stressful process later on. The more meticulously organized investors are in the present, the easier and quicker their redemption will be once they finally reach their appointed date. Security protocols throughout the actual exchange process will be both comprehensive and extremely thorough. Banks and financial institutions are mandated by law to verify the authenticity of assets, ensure the legitimacy of ownership, and meticulously document every single step for subsequent legal compliance and audit. Investors should fully expect a multi-step appointment that will likely include multiple stages of identity verification, robust asset authentication, an exhaustive documentation review, and the formal issuance of a receipt for the transaction. The entire process will be securely recorded and stored within the bank's system to maintain full transparency and an immutable record. Investors should not be alarmed if they observe security personnel, multiple surveillance systems, or if the exchange takes place within highly secure controlled rooms. This is standard, non-negotiable practice for high-value, large-scale financial operations. The investor's privacy will also be protected with the utmost seriousness. Appointments are fundamentally confidential in nature, and investors will not be required, nor should they, discuss the specific details of their exchange with anyone outside of the authorized institution's personnel. Understanding the seriousness and formality of this process helps investors to remain calm, cooperative, and highly confident throughout. Every element of the procedure is deliberately designed to protect the investor's interests and ensure a transaction that is safe, legal, and completely transparent. The Gazette confirmation guarantees the official legitimacy, but investors must still adhere precisely to the secure, structured process to complete their redemption properly. One of the often overlooked aspects of this official update is the profound operational impact it will have on the financial institutions themselves. Banks have been working tirelessly behind the scenes for years, updating complex legacy systems, comprehensively training specialized staff, integrating new compliance tools, and coordinating meticulously with numerous regulatory bodies. The Gazette confirmation definitively indicates that these exhaustive, deep preparations are now complete. Banks are now transitioning from a prolonged phase of preparation to the demanding phase of execution. This transition is an undertaking of massive operational complexity. It necessitates coordinated scheduling on a grand scale, the establishment of highly secure environments, the activation of advanced asset verification systems, the integration of digital authentication tools, and the flawless execution of precise communication protocols. For the banks, accuracy is everything and non-negotiable. For investors, patience and cooperation during this initial rollout phase will be absolutely essential. The smoother and more cooperative investors are with their documentation and preparation, the more efficiently the banks can operate and process the exchanges. This is not simply a major life-changing moment for the investors. It also represents a historic, operational, and logistical challenge for the global financial world. Now that the process has been officially confirmed and sanctioned, banks will immediately begin the activation of the highly specialized systems and detailed procedures they have been constructing and refining specifically for this long-awaited moment. With the confirmation now official, investors should also begin to cultivate an awareness of the potential eventual financial impact. A correctly and successfully executed redemption sequence has the very real potential to profoundly transform the lives of many Tier 4B holders. For some, even moderate holdings may translate into very meaningful financial gains and opportunities. For those holding larger positions, the ultimate financial impact could be substantial. It is absolutely vital to approach this defining moment responsibly, with measured deliberation and grounded judgment. Investors must plan ahead, carefully avoiding any impulsive or reactive decisions, and seriously considering professional financial guidance once the exchange process is fully complete. This is now the time to adopt a long-term perspective, focusing on sustainable financial stability, responsible budgeting, well-thought-out potential investments, and achieving long-held personal goals. Emotional reactions and excitement are entirely natural, but maintaining strict financial discipline will be crucial to successfully capitalizing on this historic opportunity. The redemption process marks a definitive new beginning, and the financial decisions made in the months immediately following the exchange will ultimately shape outcomes for years, even decades. Preparing mentally, emotionally, and financially is just as important, if not more so, than the mechanical preparation of documents and physical currency. Another critically important point to highlight is the absolute necessity of ignoring all unofficial information during this sensitive activation phase. Now that the government Gazette has formally confirmed the legitimacy of the process, the volume of misinformation, rumor, and disinformation is highly likely to surge dramatically. Online forums, various social media platforms, and unverified messaging applications may deliberately generate significant confusion and noise. Investors must remain entirely focused and disciplined, trusting only official updates from authorized banking communication channels, verified government institutions, or designated exchange centers. No individual outside of the strictly authorized official system possesses the capacity to provide early access, special privileges, or inside appointment information. Any and all such claims must be immediately and entirely disregarded. Scammers thrive during moments of intense excitement and heightened uncertainty such as this. The single best protection against them is simple adherence to the official instructions only. The redemption process is already legitimate, officially authorized, and comprehensively structured. There is zero need to seek shortcuts, unofficial guidance, or unverified information. Staying firmly grounded, remaining disciplined, and being consistently informed through official channels represents the smartest, safest strategy for every investor moving forward. The Gazette confirmation also sends an incredibly strong positive message regarding government transparency by making the entire process public knowledge. By publishing the confirmation openly, the government has clearly demonstrated an official commitment to both fairness and openness in the execution of the process. For many years, much of the conversation surrounding the Iraqi Dinar and Tier 4 billions assets occurred exclusively within private groups, speculative online discussions, or through inherently unreliable unofficial channels. Today's official confirmation decisively moves the entire process into the light of public legal scrutiny. This action ensures that the process is comprehensively governed by law, actively monitored by independent regulatory bodies, and executed strictly under official authority. This unprecedented level of transparency will be instrumental in stabilizing investor expectations and eliminating unnecessary, often harmful, speculation. It demonstrates that the government is not merely acknowledging the existence of the process, but is actively and officially supporting its transparent execution. This significantly strengthens investor confidence, enhances the process's credibility, and fosters a renewed sense of trust for everyone involved. Investors can now proceed with the full knowledge that the redemption sequence is not a hidden or uncertain event. It is fully recognized, legally binding, and openly documented. The final crucial stages immediately preceding the activation phase are absolutely critical. Investors must use this remaining time with extreme prudence to thoroughly review their asset records, definitively confirm the completeness and accuracy of all their documentation, double-check all records, and systematically prepare their information for presentation. Any documents that are currently missing should be located or officially replaced. Any physical currency that is damaged must be preserved with extreme care and noted. Any digital assets must be properly organized, secured, and backed up. The more complete and accurate the entire documentation package is, the smoother, faster, and more efficient the eventual redemption appointment will prove to be. This period represents essentially the final opportunity for deep preparation before the official appointments begin to roll out in structured phases. Investors must stay alert, maintain their focus, and ensure they are ready to act swiftly. The process is rapidly moving into its final operational phase, and once the official scheduling begins, the pace of events will accelerate significantly. Preparation completed today will effectively eliminate stress and complications tomorrow. This is the moment for disciplined organization and responsible action. Every investor has endured a very long wait for this definitive moment. Now the time has come to finalize all preparations, as the financial system officially transitions into the full active redemption stage. The intensive coordination between all participating institutions will only continue to grow more intense. Banks, regulatory bodies, security agencies, and various government departments will all work in seamless coordination to ensure a stable, controlled, and secure rollout. Investors should expect to receive clear, precise, and highly structured communications that meticulously outline every single step of the process. The instructions provided will likely be simple in language but demand extreme precision in execution. Missing a required step or ignoring a single instruction could potentially slow down the necessary verification process, making meticulous attention to detail absolutely essential for every participant. Investors should also mentally prepare for potential short waiting periods, particularly during the initial high-volume phase of the rollout. This is an entirely normal and expected occurrence for financial operations of such complexity and massive scale. The core key is to remain patient, maintain composure, and trust in the structure of the authorized process. With the government Gazette confirmation now fully in place, all remaining doubt about the process's reality has been removed. The system is demonstrably moving forward, the structure is active, and the sequence is officially underway. Investors have entered the definitive final stretch of a long, arduous journey, and the very next official updates will bring them directly to the threshold of the active redemption phase. This profound confirmation plays a crucial, far-reaching role in shaping the future of similar financial programs. The successful execution of a transparent, legally structured, and orderly redemption process sets an invaluable precedent for any future financial programs of this nature. It demonstrably proves that governments, large banking institutions, and individual investors can effectively coordinate and manage major, complex financial transitions in a safe, legal, and effective manner. For Iraqi Dinar holders, it represents a definitive, long-sought recognition after years of pervasive uncertainty. For the broader global financial community, it signifies a new era of currency redemption explicitly based on stringent compliance and transparency. For the wider economy, it signals a significant shift in how value-backed assets are officially validated, secured, and processed on a global scale. This moment is genuinely historic, not only for what it means in the present day, but perhaps more importantly, for the powerful precedent it establishes for the future. The successful completion of this redemption process will inevitably serve as an international benchmark for how governments manage comparable financial programs moving forward. Tier 4B investors are positioned directly at the very epicenter of this immense historic financial transformation. The world is watching the execution closely, the systematic structure is active and engaged, and the process is unfolding precisely as it was meticulously designed and authorized.